Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the invisible wiring, the hidden machinery that actually powers your vacations. I mean, we all love to travel, right? But how often do we stop and think about the massive, complex systems working behind the scenes just to get us from point A to B? We're going to unpack exactly how the travel trade didn't just survive a massive digital revolution, but how it evolved to keep shaping the way we explore the world. So let's start with a massive, widely held assumption. Didn't websites like Expedia, in the end of airline commissions, just completely wipe out travel agents back in the early 2000s? It's a super common belief. Honestly, with a smartphone in every pocket, it really felt like the traditional travel agent was destined for the history books, right alongside the encyclopedia and the video rental store. But here's the thing. Reality absolutely shatters that myth. Instead of dying out, agents actually evolved. They went from being simple ticket bookers to becoming the central, indispensable hub of a vastly complex ecosystem. The prediction back in the late 1990s was that the internet and airlines would connect straight to the consumer, supposedly cutting the agent right out of the equation. But the reality today? Human agents are managing API gateways, GDS feeds, fare matrices, and destination content. They're acting as the ultimate filter for you, the consumer. To really understand how the travel trade survived this digital revolution, we kind of have to look under the hood. So, here is our blueprint for solving this modern business mystery. First, we'll look at the great travel agent myth. Then, we'll trace the evolution of the itinerary, decode the travel ecosystem matrix, reveal the hidden mechanics of travel, and finally, explore the 21st century pivot. All right, Section 1, the great travel agent myth. Did the internet actually win? So the old model relied incredibly heavily on standard 10% commissions from airlines. I mean, that was the industry's bread and butter. But from 1995 to 2002, airlines just aggressively slashed those commissions. By 2002, when Delta Airlines went completely zero commission, the prediction was loud and clear. People thought the internet would connect airlines directly to consumers, and we'd all just easily bypass the agent entirely. Moving on to Section 2, the evolution of the itinerary and the roots of complex travel. Now you might be totally surprised to learn that travel agents weren't actually born as simple ticket punchers. Not at all. They originated as master logisticians. I mean, look all the way back at 1758. Cox and Kings was literally organizing military logistics for infantry regiments. By the time Thomas Cook came around in 1841, he was handling bulk ticketing for a simple train trip. But then, by 1855, Cook had created the inclusive tour for the Paris exhibition. So the DNA of the travel trade has always been about assembling these incredibly complex pieces, not just, handing over a single piece of paper. Assembling a trip is literally like following a recipe. Raw materials, things like aircraft seats and hotel bedrooms, are gathered into an inclusive package to really leverage economies of scale. Think of the suppliers as providing the raw ingredients. The magic happens when a tour operator steps in as the assembler, mixing all these ingredients into a single cohesive package. By buying in bulk, they massively reduce the unit cost, and then that gets distributed out through retail agencies. Which brings us to Section 3, the travel ecosystem matrix. Essentially, who builds versus who sells. Okay, so the absolutely crucial point here is that a tour operator is the manufacturer. They are the ones actually owning the bulk inventory. Meanwhile, the travel agent acts as the retail distributor, working on behalf of those suppliers. The operator makes their money via markups, basically the difference between the wholesale cost and the retail price. The travel agent, on the other hand, rarely actually owns the travel assets themselves. Instead, they earn their living through supplier commissions or consumer service fees. And to break that down even further within the agency side itself, wholesale agencies act as consolidators. They assemble unbundled components in bulk, whereas retail agencies are the ones directly navigating your needs as a consumer. So the wholesalers are working entirely behind the scenes to package things up, and the retail agents are right there on the front lines, translating all those packages into a dream vacation for the traveler. Let's look at Section 4, the hidden mechanics of travel. This is all about the invisible technology. Think about the last time you searched for a flight online. Did you know you were actually tapping into a global distribution system, or GDS? It's basically a massive electronic switchboard that feeds real-time availability, but get this, without actually holding any inventory itself. Airlines, hotel chains, and car rentals are constantly feeding data into this central hub. The GDS then shoots that real-time data out to tens of thousands of travel agencies. It is, quite literally, the ultimate connector. The sheer staggering scale of these GDS networks is the vital weapon of survival that agents use to navigate a totally chaotic global market. Just look at Sabre, for example. It is instantaneously connecting over 50,000 agencies, holding 77,000 hotel properties, and querying around 400 airlines in real time. This hidden machinery gives a single human travel agent the immense power to seamlessly book a complex, multi-country itinerary in just fractions of a second. So, armed with this incredible technology and facing the death of that standard 10% airline commission we talked about earlier, agents successfully shifted their revenue scales. They pivoted toward consumer-paid service fees and high-yield niche commissions, like cruises and car rentals. They simply couldn't rely on the old model anymore, so they weighed the scales down with a completely new one. Basically, they changed how they got paid by changing what they focused on selling, which completely ensured their financial survival. Finally, Section 5, the 21st century pivot. This is where we see the redefining of agent value. The radical pivot here is absolutely fascinating. Agents literally transformed from being gatekeepers who hoarded secret booking networks to becoming these brilliant curators who filter out the infinite noise of the internet. Think about it. In the 20th century, their value came for having exclusive access to that GDS system. But today, with search engines giving the general public totally unlimited data, the agent's new superpower is acting as a prism. They filter all that digital chaos into a perfect, stress-free experience for you. This massive transformation means agents now completely thrive in specialized, high-ticket travel. They're delivering an advisory premium and expert curation that simple digital algorithms just can't match yet. Look, if you just need a cheap flight from point A to point B, an online search engine is totally fine. But for complex travel, agents absolutely dominate this niche sanctuary. They're providing massive time savings and real financial value built on incredibly trusted advisory relationships. And just to prove that this model actually works, human travel agents today still represent an incredible 77% of all complex cruise bookings. That's huge. It turns out, when logistics get truly complicated, people really don't want to blindly trust a computer algorithm. They want a real human expert in their corner. So I want to leave you with this final thought. When you are drowning in a sea of endless online travel options, literally thousands of reviews and constantly shifting schedules, is your time too valuable not to use a curator? The travel agent didn't die. They just evolved into the ultimate filter for the modern explorer. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you walk away with a whole new appreciation for the incredible hidden mechanics powering your next great adventure.